the Arbor School. Despite our tours being limited at this time, we'd like to welcome you into the school, and hopefully through this virtual tour you can get a sense of who we are, what we do, and where our learning takes place at the Arbor School. So the curriculum on offer here at the Arbor School is based in the rich traditions of the National Curriculum for England, or what most people know as the British curriculum. The power of using the British curriculum as the foundation for our learning is exceptionally clear in terms of the learning progressions. So what a child's supposed to do or learn or know or understand at FS1 is very clearly identified, and then FS1 into FS2, FS2 into Year 1, and so those progressions are very clearly mapped. And that's what brings the power of the national curriculum, because in a school that does it well, whether it's a school here, a school in England, or a school in Hong Kong, you'd find that they all have a similar set of objectives. So what we deliver is very clear because it's based on the national curriculum for England, and it's a non-negotiable that if you come to the Arbor School, you will have fantastic teaching and learning in terms of your literacy and your numeracy, your science, and all those things that make up the national curriculum for England. So that defines very clearly the what we deliver. What's unique and important to us here at the Arbor School is more the how we deliver that information. So the how we deliver is very important to us here at the Arbor School, and we would say that in the youngest year groups we would be place-based and contextually rich with experiential child-based learning. In the middle school we go into project and problem-based learning. In the upper school we go into full inquiry-based learning, although they're still doing the fundamental concepts that are required by the national curriculum for England, the British curriculum. So in foundation stage, for example, in terms of place-based learning, if they were doing Jack and the Beanstalk, they might go into the biodomes, and then they could engage all 5 senses by feeling the beanstalks and walking through the beanstalks and listening to the biodome and the sounds of the space. So they can engage all of their senses in terms of the learning environment. In the middle groups, for example, say Year 3, they would have a rich question that drives their learning. So rather than just learning separate subjects, they would embed their foundational knowledge and then take it to a question. So the question might be something like, how does migration affect the population of Dubai? Or how can I create a sustainable light source using the materials I have available? And through that question, we can then thread in their learning from geography or from art or from maths, so that they have an authentic project and problem that they need to solve using their fundamental knowledge. As we get into the upper year groups, where obviously the curriculum pressures increase as they start to have the separate specialist subjects, is then we start looking at standalone projects. So once they've built a foundational knowledge in those subjects, is then we take them to a separate project. So for example, we might talk about marine conservation here in Dubai. We might talk about how we can maximise the profit of our own harvest fair. And through that, we can thread in the different systems, we can thread in the different subjects, and we can really get them to engage in authentic project and problem-based learning. So just to reiterate, the what is defined by the national curriculum for England, the British curriculum. The how is place-based, contextual, and project-based learning. And then threading or connecting those two, the how and the what, really is our why. And our why is based on ecoliteracy, sustainability, and global environmental justice. Now people would see us in these beautiful surrounds, and if they've looked on our social media as a green school, which they might think, oh, you look after rubbish and you recycle and you take care of your energy. Yes, those are important to us, but ecology and ecoliteracy go deeper than that. So ecos stems from the old Greek word, which meant home, or the place you live. And so in those pieces, in the place you live, there's multiple facets that are all connected and interdependent. So the people, the built environment, the green environment, the financial structures, those all support the place you live. And so you can't take a decision without interacting with each of those pieces. So for us to be eco-literate means to be systems literate, to understand how all the pieces are connected. So all our fantastic spaces, yes, they are very green, but the concept is to understand how they're connected. So when we solve problems, we don't solve them in isolation. Sustainability is a concept that most people are happy with now, in terms of enough for all forever, making sure our decisions that we take now don't affect future generations in a negative way. And the third element is global environmental justice. So the third element, the global environmental justice, is really to do with the human ethical side of things. So if we were to solve a problem, we could solve it in multiple different ways. But what we're trying to teach our children, certainly as they become older and older, it becomes a concept they can understand a little easier, is this idea of human ethical solutions. So if you're going to, for example, take all the plastics out of the system, it might work for those people who have easy access to fresh water through their infrastructure. But people that don't have access to fresh water through normal systems, then they may rely on that plastic. So for us to solve that challenge means we have to consider all human elements of it, not just solve it in a separate and disparate way. So the three parts of global environmental justice, sustainability and ecoliteracy connect the British curriculum with project-based learning in our school. Welcome to the Arbor Biodome. It's a fantastic structure. It's one of 6 we have on site that allow us to enrich the children's learning and really focus on our environmental education. So that's education in the environment, for the environment and about the environment. So come with me as we take a small journey to see how we can use the space. So when the children come and the teachers bring their classes here, the concept of the space is it's a quiet space, it's a reflective space, it's an inspirational space. So the children, yes, they can see that they can see a pond and they can see tropical species, but at the same time, they can be inspired to ask questions. So, for example, why is this a flowering species? Why a climbing species? How does a climbing species attain its nutrients? Yes, it's a pond, but actually it's a freshwater ecosystem. And the ecosystem always starts with, we know the energy starts from the sun, and we have our producers and we have the consumers, and it's in a balance. So the children can experience nature both directly and have rich questions and be inspired to sort of think about nature, but also they can just be a part of nature.